we want we we want to move. So I want to say thank you so much for joining. This is January 11th, 2023, and it's our first meeting of the Thicket of Diversity. And at this time, let's see, we have Matt, and we have Randy, and we have Carl, and hopefully we'll have a few others join us. I sent some information by email. I don't know if you had a chance to look over the minutes. Then that was, I think, a December 28th email. It went back a ways.
I got them.
Okay. Do you have any corrections or edits or? Okay. All right. So I guess what was I approved as submitted or shared, something like that? I think you're not supposed to have to vote on minutes. That's what Maxine Johnston always says. Okay, so Scott's getting on. Okay. Welcome, Scott. We just talked about the minutes, and we're recording, so we're moving along. I have hello. I have some bank statements, and so we have at the end of December, we have in the TCEQ account, we have $43,454.95. And then I also have to discuss later, there's $14,817 in the science conference account. So that's where we are. And I have on the agenda, we have from the TCQ funds, we still have $4,900 that can go for data management. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. About $10,000 for the researchers. And I don't know, we did pay $1,000 to Bennett. So I don't know if that $10,000 is minus. I don't know if that's corrected because I think I just took it from the last meeting. And then we've never spent money for ads for volunteers, and we might try and spend $2,000 on that this year because we might as well. And I'll do the TCEQ report like I've been doing it. And then it gets shared on SharePoint. So you've seen those, haven't you, Dale? There's a folder for TCEQ, and every quarter I put everything in there that has to go in, the report, the statements, the check receipts, and any of the data or whatever. So I've been taking care of that, and I share it with John and Diane. I share it with them before, and Diane's getting on, before I submit it. I don't submit it without them looking over it. Okay, so anyway, that's the TCEQ. That's going fine. So the next thing, hi, Diane. We have the support letters for mitigation funding. So we were talking about doing that, and I actually I shared some with Diane. I have and I sent in today's email. I sent a couple of copies. I sent the copies, but one will be to the county judges, because county judges know what kind of mitigation is going on. So it's the county judges in the 7 counties. And then the other one, which I have not shared with Diane yet, but it's for the TCEQ funders. And I went through the SEP folder, and I have all their addresses. And so we can send the letter to them with the TOD accomplishments and tell them, hey, thank you for the support. This is what we did with your money. You know, we're still here. If you have any more fines, we'll be happy to take them. So the last time we did that was 2013. So it's been a while, and I mean, it may generate some more money. So it's worth a try, and it's basically just a letter. So anyway, Diane, I have that in the works. Can you hear us okay, Diane?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great, great. So so I'll get with you on those letters, and we'll see. But I've got the addresses, and it should be pretty easy now at this point to do that. So on the science committee, where the open projects is the leeches and tiger beetles, and we had that problem this summer with the COVID, and so I'm not sure where the tiger beetles are, if they've been able to come in, if they've rescheduled. I don't know, but I have communicated with Robert, and he still has time. He's not behind or anything, because everything got delayed with COVID. I've had some great conversations with Brown and Williams, who has taken over. She's the new lead on leeches, and she was able to come in, and she did find it in a drought, and she was able to find, I believe it was five or six leeches. And I don't actually have the names of those leeches, and I need from her the annual report. We still don't have that. She's supposed to turn that into the national park, but she's real enthusiastic, and one place she can find leeches is parasites on fish, which you might know about that, Randy. So she has been communicating with Zachary Loftman, who was our crawfish researcher, and it sounds like he's going to come back and he's going to work with her. And if he can find leeches on the crawfish, that helps her in her looking for leeches. So anyway, they're cooperating. But I think she's sent some off for like genetic analysis. So anyway, I've really enjoyed talking to her, and I think she's on the I was reading her resume, and it looked like she's on the editorial board of the Southeastern Naturalist. What's that publication? I think that's it. Southeastern Naturalist. Is Randy, you're
there is a publication called that. So
yeah, she's on the editorial board. So I thought, well, that's kind of nice to know someone there. So all right, so that's going. And Bennett has worked on the bycatch, and all that's left out of his grant is there is some transportation money. It's hard to spend that transportation money. And I told him he didn't need to close it out just yet, because I mean, he still had time. He turned everything in early, and he may want to make a trip here and, scope another area out or something for a potential grant, because he's done really good jobs. That was the bee bycatch.
Was that Bennett? You say that?
Bennett, Daniel Bennett. And
has he ever done a science cafe? Yeah.
He hasn't. And he might be a good.
So if he did one, could he spend his transportation?
That's a good thought.
Could he spend the transportation money coming to do a science cafe?
I'll ask him.
Maybe.
That's a great idea. Yeah. Okay, I'll ask him. Yeah. So yeah, that's all he has left. He was doing bycatch. And I really don't know how the bycatch is going to fit in the taxa tally, because there's no telling what he's going to identify in the bycatch. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I did send an email to the researchers about turning in the annual report. And then I sent another email yesterday. I think Matt and Randy, and Scott, we're the only ones that received it. That I think you're going to go pick up your son, I believe. Aren't you, Scott? I see you're driving. But multitasking here. but I sent a letter to the researchers and a press release on the 22 accomplishments. So I sent it to all the researchers. I think it was just yesterday. And I copied you, Diane. And I also sent it to some newspapers. So I have to make it shorter for the bulletin. The bulletin's limited to 450 words. So as is, it's too long for the bulletin. So I have to do a little more work before I can put it in the bulletin. So on Science Committee for posters, I'm just reminding everybody, John Stafford and Diane, and they were working with maybe with Bruce Walker, I'm not sure, but on the budget, the BTA's budget. And John asked for my input and I gave it to him. And one of the things we do have to spend that will come out of TOD, it can't come out of TCQ, but it'll have to come out of the BTA TOD, is $600 for Leach's posters, because that is in the agreement and that Terry worked on. They had to amend their budget because it was way off, but they kept the posters in. But since they changed everything else, the $600, we kept it in. So when they get to that point, they will get $600 for their posters, but it can't come from TCQ money. It has to come somewhere else. But I'm always excited to get the posters because I like getting them hung up at the FRS. And I've paid for some of the posters myself just so we'd have the posters. Okay, so Education Outreach Committee. So Kathy Smith was over it, and my emails to her bounced back, and Dale said she's no longer at Village Creek. So I'm sorry to hear that. But basically what's been going on, Scott did a wonderful job at the BTA Day in October. We were so proud of having you as a guest speaker, and you just did a great job. So thank you very much. And thank you. And I was real excited about the awards. Andrew Bennett, who's super shy from the Park Service, didn't show up, but he has just done so much work with the greenhouse and lots of restoration. And so he was a great candidate. And of course, the Alabama Cachata, they were great. And I've been a fan of Wanda Landry for years, so the awards were great. And thank you, Randy, for your the canopy. And I do believe this might be yours that I'll try and bring, that I lost. This I've been hanging on to it. I don't want to lose it. It's in my office. It's like, oh, I know this is Randy's, and it goes to the canopy. So anyway.
You have me bougie.
So anyway, I'll get it to you at the meeting that we have.
No problem.
Okay. You probably wouldn't have missed it if I hadn't said anything. And I'm just letting y'all know, Michael Black, who he doesn't make a whole lot of meetings, but he does make some meetings. And he was at the BTA Day. He's a director. He's had some back issues, really bad back issues. And so he hasn't been able to take his wonderful photographs because he can't carry his camera. But he has been taking pictures with his cell phone. And guys, his cell phone photographs they are amazing. And he'll take pictures of little tiny things. So I'm just pointing that out. I mean, he's a teacher. I think he's teaching junior high, maybe in Vidor or somewhere. But I'm just kind of letting y'all know that he's a very talented photographer, but he's just been taking pictures with his cell phone. And maybe we can do something with that or promote it somehow. And then the Park Service has a longleaf restoration Monday and President's Day, MLK Day and President's Day coming up. And I will go Monday, but I'm just letting you know, there's, if you go, there's a lot of paperwork you have to sign with the Park Service, but I don't know who else is going, Diane, if we'll have any more BTA people. Are you going to be there? Okay.
I'm planning to go and bring my kids.
Oh, great. So
We went and did the one in December, or my son and I did the one in December.
nice.
So we're gonna go back Monday.
Nice. Great. Well, we'll see you then.
And we may have some kids from the 4-H group might be coming.
Oh, how
from
great. Wonderful.
Jefferson County 4-H.
Wonderful. Well, be prepared to, did you get the paperwork for the release stuff? I can forward it to you if you want me to.
I did it all last time, but I tried to call Megan today and I just missed her and then forgot to call, but I
can email it to you. I have it all because I'll email it.
I still have it. I have
Okay.
it from last time. I'll just change the dates and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right. So on the TOD website, that's continuing to work, but hopefully I'll hear from the email that I sent to the researchers if they have any edits or anything to add to the website. So Carl, you might want to go. You probably haven't looked at it in a while, but thicketofdiversity.org, and you can go to the science and research section and look at the publications and see if there's anything that needs to be added or if something's on there we need to take off. But hopefully I'll get, Jeff Pittman's real good about making edits. So anyway, that's an ongoing.
On one of the things that you sent us that had the lists and stuff at Mike Barger's stuff, it said aquatic ectoparasites. It's probably just aquatic parasites. Most of them would be endoparasites that he worked with. But also Mike Barger has changed locations. So he's at a different college now than he was. So he might not have gotten your email. I'm not sure what his new email address is, but I might be able to find it.
If you can find it, that'd be great, because to my knowledge, he had retired and the email was bouncing back, but he's not retired. That's
he
good.
Just moved.
Well,
he's not old enough to retire.
Okay. He's a prolific researcher, and he's one of the ones that we would need to go back in and do some more work, because he's turned in a lot of stuff. And so basically, let me kind of tell you where we're at. And I got John's email, Diane, from your meeting that you had with the Park Service. But so I have kind of a draft. I've updated the taxa tally. I don't have anything on tiger beetles. I may end up, I may end up just deleting tiger beetles for right now. I had just put it in there because I was hoping I might hear that maybe he had found at least one tiger beetle, but I don't know. And then I don't have the actual names for the leeches yet. I just had the email from Brown and Williams on that. So basically on the tally, okay, so I have added, like, the ones that the mussels was really hard, but it's about as close as I can get it. Allison has worked with me. So anyway, that you can look over it, but I want to explain, and I'm going to, and now I can't find the paper that I'm looking for, but so on the Google Drive that Diana, I know Dale helped me set it up. So we have a spreadsheet. And the first page is like a table of contents for the different species that we've researched. Then when you go to the different pages, the different sheets, you will find each researcher and the names of the species that they found. So like for mussels, I have the 32 names for the different species. And that one has changed because they reassign and rename, and that one was real complicated to do. But the problem, Diane, with it's not the data that was submitted to the Park Service. That's fine. We've got, that's been, the parks are, the problem is for us having that list of species names. So like we have 1,396 vascular plants. If we have a researcher come and says, I found such and such a plant, is it on your list? If we don't have our list, then we can't tell them. I found an orchid. There's 24 on the list, and they want to verify if theirs is new to the state, or is it one on our list? So it's the problem is with our data. It's not the Park Service. Everything's been submitted to the Park Service. And
Then they know about all the old data then, right?
they have the old data. They have the old data. They may have more data. They have more data. They get research from people that we never get copies of that. We don't, we don't know. So, but they're also very behind. So if you go and you try and look at their list, they don't have a lot of this. Where we've been, the last time I was able to check, I wasn't able to check. So that is, and we have a file, an access file that says all data, an access file, all data. So to me, that's going to be the gold mine, is the access. So I don't know access. I've been going every other place, every report, every other place to come up with those spreadsheets. And I'll send you. Did I send you the one that said more taxa? Did I send you the last email that said more taxa? Or
Seemed
did I?
like the last data that you sent to me, I opened and it wasn't what you thought it was.
Did I send one today that said?
I
More-
haven't seen it today.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll send it afterwards and you can see what I'm talking about. But it says, yes, those are the ones that I've verified. And the ones that don't say yes are the groups that I need to clean up to find out what the names of the species are. So most of them are done, but we still have some loose ends. So I don't know if that answers your question, Diane, that you had. I think if I come and show you, it'll make more sense. Probably it'd be good for us to go and talk to Andrew. You and I go and talk to Andrew. And he may have some of these lists that, that were submitted that might help us. But we have it. I think we have it. We just have to get in that access folder. And
that's what you're having difficulty getting into.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never done access. I'm almost at the point where I'll take a course and learn how to do access and do it myself. That's kind of where I'm at. But I thought Jeff Pittman was going to help, but he has a Mac and our access is not Mac compatible. So that just that's a shame because he really would have had been able to help. But it has to be not Mac. So that's where we are on the tally. Yeah, Randy.
Is Access is that a program? That's a computer program?
Yeah,
Like a
Microsoft
software?
Access's database. It's
It's-
Microsoft's database.
So Randy, it kind of, when you open it up, it kind of looks like Excel. but it's built very differently. But it's a database program built by Microsoft. It's part of that Office suite.
Well, so we have the capability to open it,
Yeah.
right?
But,
Okay.
but when you start diving into it, unless you know how to use it, it's really, really funky.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Randy, the big problem we have is that all of Mona's old files are in Access 97 and the new versions of Access will not open them.
Oh, wow. 97.
Yes,
Why?
because
that's
that's
how
what was
long.
current back then.
Wow. Wow. I didn't know she had them that back that far. Wow.
Oh, yeah. So that's the problem, is that we'd have to mount a machine with Microsoft Windows XP or something to be able to mount Access 97 to be able to open them.
We have a gold mine, we can't get to it.
Well, I feel like I can when I get caught up. I'm just so far behind on all my other stuff that
I know.
haven't been able to mount over.
Well,
I guess what I'm not understanding is all that information that you are not able to access right now, doesn't the Park Service have that?
We think so.
Yeah, so
they have it, but we sometimes have things they don't have, because if someone collected at the Sandyland and it was reported to us, they don't want it. They only want what's reported on theirs. So the figures that we have may not match what they have.
okay.
So, that's why I've just wanted to get into what our research is. And I'm committed to getting this right because we're a science-based organization and I just want this right. And we're going forward, but, still working on that. So that's how that is. Still an issue. And I updated. Do I have any more questions on the tally, or just we'll keep trying to go forward on this. And I think Diane, you and I can talk to Andrew and see what he has. See if any of the figures match up and explain what we're looking for. It's data that's already been submitted. Okay. I did go through our TOD contacts and I have all that updated and I can let you know maybe in another email, the people that I don't have contacts for that have, like there's a Paul Crump. I'm not sure where he located. But like Barger was one of them. Marcia Mays was she retired. She was at Texas Parks and Wildlife. So some of them, they've just retired. A couple have passed away. But I have updated that. So when I sent my email to the researchers, those are the current researchers I have. So anyway, so that's just kind of clean up. And I sent the researchers the TOD accomplishments. So that's good having that done. And for the FRS, we've had 605 overnight stays. And we had right now
this last quarter?
Last year, the whole year was 605 stays. We had RISE, North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences, SCA Gulf Coast, Corps that was that deaf group, the Smithsonian Environmental Research, Texas State University, American Youth Corps, AmeriCorps, Texas Conservation Corps, and I said Texas State. So it's getting used. We've got an issue right now with, did they ever get the electricity back on in the big building, Diane? That's too bad.
No, and because the way they have it hooked up, which is the wrong way, to generators and then to the FRS, it's not going to be repaired for a long time if they leave it as it is, because I mean, they have to get the repair approved and they have to order parts, then we'll have to wait on parts. And our concern is the humidity in the FRS. So, we're asking, why can't you just hook up straight to the FRS and stop going to this generator where the switch is out? So, and Wayne, the superintendent mentioned that also yesterday, that it was his idea also. So hopefully he'll get their maintenance people. Well, they have to get an electrician out there that can work on a generator and rewire. They're going to have to rewire the power to the FRS to circumvent waiting on all these parts. So I have people out there tonight and for the next 4 nights, the fire crew for the Sandyland Sanctuary doing their prescribed burns. But they're staying at the Bramer House. And then we have the crew coming, the archaeologists coming in February. And they're going to have to stay at the Bramer House unless they get that electrician to circumvent that problem they're having and rewire everything directly, I guess, from the pole to the FRS. So, I mean, meanwhile, we're having this hot, humid winter, which is not good for there to be no air going in there for this long.
Mm-hmm. And then they want to paint, and it's a shame when we can't rent it out that they can't be doing the painting, but if there's no electricity, there's a problem. But it'll shut it down when they do the painting too. So anyway, so I know you're working on that.
We're just waiting to see if they can get their specialized electrician out there to do this work to circumvent, so we can not wait on parts and be back in business.
So I go periodically and I'll take a picture of the cleaning stuff, and that's been working, and we order new supplies, and it's been working. The cleaning has been working. Terry Looney and her daughter have been helping with that. And the Park Service is working on a new policy. They don't want anybody going when they have people staying there. And like I went and delivered some paper towels once because they needed some, but they don't want anybody going when they have people staying there. And that makes sense because they could say somebody stole something. So that makes sense. But we're awaiting a new policy. And
oh, I'm sorry. Something else. Yeah, I asked Wayne about that yesterday when I was at headquarters, and he said he hadn't had time to get to that yet. And then he also said that we better make sure that every researcher that comes out there has a park permit to be in the park. And he's been watching it. Unfortunately, everybody has so far, but he's going to bust us for the first researcher that we allow in that doesn't have a permit to be in the park.
Well, goodness, we never thought to ask or to remind researchers on that.
Well, now we better get.
Is he talking about the collecting permit to collect in the park, or is there some permit to be in the park? What is that?
To do research in the park. There's supposed
the collection permit from that makes. I mean, they're not allowed to collect without the permit, so that. I don't know why that was.
We might want to look over the webpage and see that we've got it clearly stated in there.
I don't know. In the past, they had to have secured that permit through the parks to get the funding or anything from us. That was part of the process? As I recall it.
Yeah, it is part of the process for the TCQ, but we have people stay that are not TCQ funded. I mean,
sure, yeah, they're not researchers. They're volunteers or school groups or whatever.
We don't check like the archaeology. We haven't checked. We don't check that group. They're coming to stay, but they're coming.
Well, I know, and they're from the National Park Service themselves. But he said he's been watching it and just waiting for us to have somebody that doesn't have a permit and go after it. And so, okay, well, we better start watching that to make sure everybody has permits.
So does that mean that it can't be used for educational purposes, outreach purposes, hosting meetings? I mean, I thought that was part of the point of the FRS.
It
Oh,
can,
he's not worried about the FRS. He's saying if we're having people there and they're doing research in the Big Thicket, they better have a permit.
Okay, so not just for staying at the FRS, but
No.
Well, that's the
Based-
federal law. I don't think we need to worry about that too much. I mean, we are already worried about it. That's something that's always been required. So I don't know
Yeah.
what he's really talking about, but I'd be interested to hear from him on Saturday about what he has to say about that. But
Yeah,
it's
that
a
kind of
standing requirement.
implies, yeah, it kind of implies there's been some incident or something that somebody was running around without a permit, but
No, he said he couldn't find anybody, but he's been watching
yeah.
to
Hmm.
see if we have somebody staying there that doesn't have a permit to be, doing their research in the park. So I
Huh.
thought we need to make sure
oh,
that
we've
that's,
been pretty quality, I think, but
Yeah,
so
we'll
it's
just
just something
be
for us
alert.
to
Good to be
watch.
alert. Be alert.
Weird.
Right. Everybody's
Okay.
on alert now.
Okay.
Solomon, make sure you got your permits.
Let him watch. That's his job. He's the superintendent. Let him
Okay.
watch.
permits when we go,
Okay.
but sorry.
We missed that.
What?
I was saying we do have permits for when we go and do our event, but there are other instances that I would have thought of to use the FRS where we would be going there that wouldn't require scientific research permits, but I thought the FRS would be an appropriate base for. I mean, I haven't done it, but it seems
I think
strange.
it. I
It's
think
for
it still is, Scott. I don't think he's talking about people going there for other purposes and staying in
But
the FRS.
you know what
That's not
might be a
requirement.
catch is their annual permits. So if you had it for last year, you may need to be up on your paperwork to have it for the next year. That might be something
I don't
that,
know.
We always do. We always have current permits that would stay there, but I'm just imagining a situation that seems like it would be a legit situation, but that would anyway. It
Okay.
doesn't matter.
I don't think we should become overly concerned about this new
okay,
revelation.
no, I think we do a good job. So,
It sounds a lot like kind of how he got upset about what David was doing with the fungi and stuff. And David was legal and everything, but sometimes Wayne gets a little like that. But yes, but our researchers have to be permitted if they're collecting in the federal park.
sure,
It has to be permitted,
Sure.
and that's nothing new. That's been
No,
always
that's-
that way.
it's always been that way. Okay, so I copied the strategic plan that was, and this is an old one, so I don't know, maybe what I could, no, this was the strategic plan. This isn't the work plan. So you were working on the work plan, Diane. And we're basically doing, trying to hit the things here. We need to work on the science cafe. And I thought, so we have one idea, Bennett, for the science cafe. If y'all can think of anybody else, any other science cafes, that would be a good thing to do. We're overdue on that.
Has Allison done one at all?
She's done one, but she has new research.
I know
So
Neil Ford did one on the mussels, but I don't remember Allison doing one.
I saw pictures of Allison doing a science cafe, but I don't know what year that was from. I just saw some pictures with Allison at Log On.
That
But
might
you
have been
know-
her first funding and not her second one.
not
That
her
might be
second funding. So we could, see, and she's really kind of taken off on that. So
Has Dr. Solomon done a science cafe? I know he's done several things, but
Yeah, I did. Been a little while. I did one. I was thinking my colleague Scott Egan might be good to talk about tiger beetles. It's his grad student Robert LaRoche who's the lead on that project. But Scott Egan's on sabbatical this semester, and so I assume that means he has infinite time to do all sorts of things like science.
Yeah, there you go.
Let me ask a question. What would be wrong with us asking NPS to put on the science cafe for some of their research, i.e. like bat research, the listening devices that they have?
oh, that's a good idea.
that is a good idea. Yeah. They could talk about their longleaf pine restoration or something that would generate people to come help with it.
Okay. Well, so now we have quite a few ideas for the science cafe. So great. Thank you, Dale.
Could I ask a question on that? The DLIA is still doing research work up in the Smoky Mountains. and they've got a 25-year reunion coming up. And how are they doing their work, working with the federal government? And what problems have they run into? So we might check into that, because they're producing research work like what we can do is like TOD. We're doing not any different than they are. And so we can find out from Todd Witcher what their problems are with the federal government, and then we can relate that to the Big Thicket National Park
Okay.
Reserve.
That's a good idea, reaching out. It's been a long time since I've communicated with them. It's been years. So I get newsletters from them still, but so the next thing I thought is, and this was in the strategic plan, and it's the science conference. And I know, we say science conference and it's kind of like scary. But I'd like us to think about it. But my opinion is that it would, like the last time we did it was 2015, and I sent what we had in our files, and the flyer that they had, and kind of the background information and the instructions to the researchers on papers. But my thought is that we go much smaller, have it just be Big Thicket, not have it West Gulf Coastal Plain, just have it be small, have it maybe like the Holiday Inn, or I don't know, some not this great big thing. Lamar would be great, but if it's just more than Lamar can handle, I looked at the Beaumont Convention Center, and they have a PDF that I could have opened, but I was on my cell phone, I think, at the time. I didn't open it. But they'll do everything. They'll make your badges, they'll handle your registration. And that's what we need. If we're going to do something like this, we don't have the staff to handle registration. And that's their business, is trying to get conventions and conferences, and they'd be thrilled to do that. So let's just, what do y'all think? Do you think scaling it down and then checking out a turnkey thing with like the Convention Bureau? What do you think? You think that might be a doable? The thing I think would be good is the publications. It seems to me researchers are always trying to get published, and it'd be kind of nice if we had something like, we had it through the South,
I think Southwest Naturalist or Texas, I think it was Southwestern Naturalist did it put the abstracts and sent it out as an edition or something like that.
Right. Well, this was, now it's all online, but this is what, what they did before. But
all I know is last time it was at the Holiday Inn, it cost so much I couldn't afford to go. I didn't go to the last one because I thought it was prohibitively expensive. Of course, that didn't mean it wouldn't have been very much money maybe to be prohibitively expensive for me at that time or now. But I remember it seemed very expensive as a small conference to go to.
Mm-hmm. Well, it depends on if you can get grant money and you can keep those costs down, and your purpose is not making money, your purpose is hosting the conference. Well, that would be
the Holiday Inn's purpose is to make money, so they're gonna cost money.
And what is it? 24 is the 50th anniversary of the Big Thicket National Preserve. So that would be, if we were to do one, the 50th anniversary, that would be a good, even if, maybe it has to be just small. I don't know. Let's think about it.
Could you set up something for people that qualify for financial assistance where they could stay at the FRS and we could shuttle them, keep the cost down?
That would be, that could certainly work. That could certainly work.
You could have it at the FRS if it was small enough.
Oh, no.
That's a little small.
That's pretty small. Yeah.
Camp.
Well,
Poster session at the FRS.
so would you say Lamar is just too big a burden for you guys?
I don't know. I mean, they have nicer facilities now. They have plenty of
Yeah.
facilities to host
They-
something like that.
They
I don't have any idea how
specifically-
much it would cost or anything like
Yeah,
that.
I don't know the cost. They actually have a building that's now designed to hold conferences in. So I don't know.
And the student union is, I think, would be a pretty nice place to have
Yeah.
it too. That it's nice and new, and there's meeting rooms and ballrooms and all that.
Well, we'd want somebody or some group that would do it like turnkey for us. Because we can't handle the registration and the badges. You know, we could set up some exhibits, but we can't. So I don't know, you might ask if Lamar has a department that does that.
I don't know.
or-
I'm not sure what they got right now.
Yeah. Well,
We could-
let's think about it and maybe not rule it out, but have it be towards the end of 24. That way we have a little more time. Although you,
The anniversary will fall in the calendar year or fiscal year 24 for NPS.
well, I think they're going to start some of their activities before 24.
They are. They're kicking it off this fall, and they're going to have a year. They're trying to do something maybe every month. But they're kicking it off in October of 23, and they'll have something going all year. And then in 24 will be the big celebration at the park.
They used to have the Jason Project every year in February, and that was a big event that got a lot of publicity. And we participated with that pretty good. I don't know that we can revive the Jason Project or any of its remnants since Dr. Westgate's not gone, but it might be something would think about trying to do on a local basis if we can get local funding again for Jason of Southeast Texas.
That's big though. That's Jason is, I mean, that's big. I don't know.
Well, it was. But we had local funding that supported it on a local basis, that sent
Well-
all of the Jason trainers around the country for training every summer.
Uh-huh.
And then we had local funding to support all of the facilities at Lamar. I
Well-
don't know that it's dead, but
We could certainly look at the funders too and see if there would be any interest in helping us with this. But my thing is, it's just got to be small because we just can't go big like they had before.
no, but if we could revive Jason in Southeast Texas to focus on the Big Thicket, we might could build something worthwhile out of that.
That's a thought. Okay.
Was there some money left in a pot or something for having a conference? That when we first started talking about this, whoever
Oh,
was sort
Yeah.
of the standing board or something said, we're done with this and we're dumping it on you or whatever, but was there money
Yes,
involved with that?
yes, we have 14,000. I printed that out. We have 14,000.
I apologize. I have to go.
Thank you, Matt. We're
Yeah.
about done.
Thanks.
We're done. Thank you. Okay, there's 14,817 in the account to start with.
So we can spend that on, like, if it costs that to have it at Lamar or something, we would have
That
that
is-
money.
That
to-
is only for the science conference. It can't go anywhere else. It's for the science conference. So we have
So
that. to
that's our
start-
budget at this point.
Yeah, and that's without doing any grant writing. So
Right. Okay. So we have
So-
something to work with.
we have some seed money to start with.
Mhm.
Mhm. So shall we just kind of leave it at that, leave it open-ended and think about it and do a little bit more exploring?
So you're saying a target date is sometime in 2024?
Towards the end of 24.
End of 24. Okay. Well, I can try to find something out about whatever infrastructure they have for hosting conferences at Lamar or something, and get some kind of idea about prices or something like that.
Would 25 be better, Diane, since that way
I think it's a great.
we're not infringing on
Well-
Park Service in any way?
Well, we could involve them in it and have them
They
speak
should
at
be.
it,
Yeah.
you know, and make it part of their celebrate. It could be one of the, you know, how they want to do something each month for the next year, starting this October. So maybe that science conference is something they help us with and they speak at also. I haven't been here for a science conference, so I'm not sure how it works, but maybe we involve them in it as our partner. And that's one of their months is a science conference with us. I don't know, just a thought.
Yeah, I really like this idea, and especially if it can result in publications of the abstracts or whatever. I think it's a real win-win. Great opportunity for students as well to present their work, and an incentive to wrap a few things up maybe that are in the works. I say that speaking for myself in particular.
Okay, folks, so there's a little bit of interest. We'll do more exploration and we'll.
Can I intercede for just a second?
Yeah, go ahead,
Dallas is coming into a lot of money. And we're talking about millions of dollars here. And we're trying to do an undergraduate research thing, and based on what we did down in the Thicket 10, 15 years ago. So what I'm looking at, but we're just starting this whole thing. So part of our program is to, because we were so successful with the Big Thicket, that we think we can find a researcher that's doing research work, and that we can fund 2 or 3 undergraduate students per researcher, find out how much it's going to cost, and I think we can pay for that. But I'm too early to tell you that I can do that.
right.
But we get a program started to do just exactly that.
Well, we
And
hope-
so if we know what the
Right.
unit cost was, if we could get a researcher that needed help.
okay,
And so, we have access to quite a bit of money. That's what I'm talking about. So if we could get a researcher with TOD and make a contract with him or her and say, how many people can you use undergraduate research? And we can send them and use them for helpers in the summertime. And then we have the scanning electron microscopes now and everything. So we get all that instrumentation and everything that they can use and give that to the researcher.
mhm.
So if we could get together and talk about that, and I can get Jessica, because she's in charge of all that stuff, and she's right in the middle of all this, but we're just starting, but it's
Well,
looking really
I'll tell you
good.
what, Carl, why don't you and I get together and we'll talk about that and we'll see if we can.
Yeah, I
kind of
just wanted to know that that's what's going on up here,
Okay.
because we are no longer a community college. What we are is a 4-year college,
Ah, okay.
So we have the Eastfield campus, but we're talking about obscene amounts of money.
Okay, cool.
I just got notified the other day that they're going to have $63 million over and above the normal budget. And I'm thinking, well, we could use some of that. But anyway, that's what's going on. So
Okay, thank you, Carl.
but I'll get with you.
Yeah,
and
we'll
we
get
can
you
set
and
up
I'll
a time.
talk. You and I'll talk. Okay,
Okay,
folks.
I didn't-
Well, I know y'all are busy. Anybody else have any other comments?
I want to thank you for all the hard work you all do. I'm telling you.
Hey, all right. Well, I hope I was recording. My red light's not on. Okay, well, thank you, folks. Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you, Mary
Thank
Catherine.
y'all.
Bye, everybody.
All
Can I
right.
make one more comment? Because of you all, we had 93 people in that program. 90 of them have college degrees, and one finished in the top 10 at Southwest Med School because of you all and the Big Thicket. And we have a tremendous impact on students, and we can provide good researchers, but we need technicians to support the researcher, and we need the equipment to go with it so that they're not doing everything on a shoestring. And so that's what we're working on, to assign so many students the researcher could have, and then we'll fund them. And that's what we're looking at. But the data we have is phenomenal. When you take 93 people, and one finished in the top 10 at Southwest Med School, that's not too bad. And the other ones became pharmacists and dentists and researchers and everything, all because of the Big Thicket and the DLIA, the TOD with David and all you people that contributed to that made this whole thing. The whole thing we're doing now is so that we can carry on what you all did back then. And so when Jessica knows all about this stuff, because she was one of them, and she's a director now. So we got some really good input. If we can put all this together, it would be wonderful.
Okay.
So that's
Well,
what we're,
thank you, Carl. You and I are going to get together. And y'all,
okay.
Carl,
We'll
you can stay on if you want, and y'all can go.
I won't keep you up all night. I promise.
I'll stay on. I'll stay on, Carl. So thank you all. Thank you for your time.
Okay. Thank you for all you do.
Okay.
Good to see y'all.
Okay, Carl, let me share something. You know, we could also think about getting a researcher up there that would come down.
Yep. We can do that.
And then that researcher would have a closer connection with the students.
Yep.
So,
we can figure out what the best thing is for our students. That's the whole thing. Because we're putting a high quality student out.
So
that's
maybe,
all because of you guys.
Maybe like what we need to do is have like the biology department share the Thicket of Diversity website. We right now have the money to fund 2 researchers.
Well, we should be able to get the money to do that.
It's just 13,000. It's small, you know, that's what our grants are, small. But we could fund somebody right now. And it's like, you know, it's just like seed money. Usually they have to get money from their department or some other, you know, some other sources as well. But it's a way to get started. But you might have somebody right there, a researcher right at your university that's doing a project that would like to
yeah, we can do it. We've already got all the data to support what we've done, and they did all that for free. All those research. No, we paid them a little, but we can make it worth their while because we got the data that shows that we can help young people. So we got. Yeah. So anyway, I'll get with you.
And the other thing you could do is you could like give me the names of some people in the biology department, and then I'll email them directly.
Yeah. Well, I'll get with you, and you can help us.
Okay.
Plan, and then we can look at the money to cover the cost because the net investment is going to produce good students. So it's better than throwing money at them.
Right. Well, thank you so much for getting on, and yeah, we're still going forward, and
I'll be in touch with you, and we'll get this thing going. Okay.
Sounds good.
I'll get a meeting with Jessica and anybody else that wants to come.
Okay, we can Zoom. I can schedule a Zoom.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Carl. Bye-bye.
Bye. Did Dale leave too?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
All right. Let me
I'll get in touch with him.
Okay.